And so if you are joining me or joined me earlier and I was not in this space, I apologize. Yeah, I'm a little discombobulated today, and it's okay. I'm giving myself permission um, just to be that, especially in lieu of the topic that I want to build upon today. And so I'm going to be brief because I am tired, and so yeah, I welcome you. I thank you for joining me in this space. Welcome to Wellness and Wisdom Wednesdays, ex Kimberly J. Again, I apologize for being 6 minutes late. Like y'all, I'm never ever late. And so yeah, I do apologize. But we're gonna have a very interesting topic, very interesting conversation tonight, and it's gonna be all about reclaiming the inner child. Like my hair is a mess, y'all. My hair is a mess. I got bags, like yeah, reclaiming your inner child. And so I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because I was reclaiming my inner child. And so I'm going to be unapologetic for however this broadcast comes across because I'm just being present and in a moment. And so welcome. Thank you for joining me. If you have any comments or just want to say hi, go ahead and hit me in the chat. I am checking out the chat and I'm going to make sure that if you all give me a minute, I just want to check and make sure that I am, in fact, streaming on Facebook, and I am. So, again, I hope everyone is having a wonderful week. Time is flying by at lightning speed. I cannot believe that this is already, it seemed like October just started and now it's like almost coming to an end really, really quickly. So I'm really excited about a lot of good things that I have coming up. We have the Reiki Level 2 training and certification class that is going to be happening this weekend. And so, if you were interested in taking it, there is still spots available and sign up. Please sign up as soon as possible. Let me just say that. Also, the first week in November 3rd and 4th, I will be speaking at a conference at the University of Texas in San Antonio, with Gloria Anzaldúa conference. And if you're familiar with her, a powerful author, scholar, activist, Chicana feminist. So yeah, I would, you know, I'm gonna give you all more information about that. I'll kind of put it like in my group and stuff. If you're interested in following that conference, I do believe they may have a virtual component, but I'll check it out and see. It is one of the first in-person conferences that I will be attending since COVID. Yeah, since COVID. So I'm really excited about that to present and share my work. I'll be on a very powerful panel. And so yeah, I just wanted to share some other things that I'm doing out and about with this work. And so let's get started. So tonight, it is nighttime. I want to build upon reclaiming your inner child. And so, what inspired for me this topic was last month I was teaching the Reiki Level 1 class. And as part of that class, we do breakout sessions where the students are able to practice and work with each other in sending distance Reiki. But I had an uneven amount of students last time, and when there's an uneven amount of students, then I get in one of the breakout rooms with the students and I receive Reiki, which I love. I always love to receive Reiki, so that was not an issue. But during the session, as the student is transmitting Reiki to me, I saw, and intuitively saw within my inner eye me as a child. I saw my inner child. And my inner child, she was standing there and she was just brilliant. She had like all of this light was surrounding her. And then there was just this sense of peace, and it was just a sense of joy. And then the message that I received from that was that it was time for me to reclaim my inner child, that it was time for me to really, really root into the energy and the power of joy, of just being. We are so inundated with going and doing and working and providing and surviving that, we don't allow the space in our lives just to experience joy. Just to not only be still, but to be present in all that life has to offer, outside of struggle and survival and material. And so that was really placed in my heart, especially as I'm moving into this phase of you could say eldership. I'm over 50, and I'm moving it into a phase of, I work really, really hard. I have all my life, and even as an entrepreneur now, I work really, really hard. Even doing the healing and the spiritual work, the work that is the healing, the spiritual work, the teaching, the work that is in radical alignment for me, that I am passionate about. It's still work. And sometimes I tell myself, oh, because I'm so passionate about it, it really don't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work, but it is, but it's still work. I still there's still work that I do and produce to be able to create these spaces for you, to be able to provide the services that I provide, the work that I'm doing to finish this dissertation, this never ending dissertation. All of that is work. And so my inner child was there. And I'm saying this to you um, too, because it's there within all of you. But my inner child was there to remind me to find joy, that it was time for me to reclaim joy in my life. It was time for me to not be so serious. It was time for me to flirt and have fun and just, be present to all that life has to offer. And the challenge for that with a lot of people is that they don't even know what joy means to them. They don't even know what brings them just this sense of connection and this sense of presence and this sense of wonderment and this inspiration to create and to experience. And so I'm moving into, I acknowledge that message that I received in spirit during that Reiki session. And I am consciously giving myself permission to live a little, to really, and really experience more joy in my life. And so that is what prompted me or inspired me to talk about this, just in relationship to and with all of us. All of us as a community, all of us as individuals and our collectives. We need to be able to tap back into our inner child, to reclaim our inner child, and really to experience life from a place of abundance, from a place of security, from a place of joy, from a place of peace. And being able to do that requires us to be able to not only reclaim, but also to heal our inner child. Because when we can consciously and intentionally reclaim our inner child, our true, authentic essence of our souls begin to shine forward, because that's what the inner child is. The inner child is our inner divinity, our inner self, the self that remembers who we are, the self that remembers why we came here, the self that remembers our mission to explore and to create. And so reclaiming our inner child, it's very empowering and it's very liberating. But the path to reclaiming her, him, they, the path is sometimes daunting because along that path, there's some healing work to do. And I always say this, like, healing can sometimes be hard, can sometimes be difficult, depending upon your perspective or depending upon the things that you have suppressed and not dealt with. Those things have to come up in some way, shape, or form in order for it to be transmuted into that power, that energy of love and truth and healing. And so, reclaiming our inner child, not only is it liberating, it creates a space for us to do that inner child work. And so that's a term that's been like thrown out and thrown around quite a bit, is doing this inner child work, which is critical. We have to do that. And the reason why is because the vast majority of us have suffered childhood wounds that ended up creating or ended up having our inner child be suppressed, our inner child going into hiding. And so reclaiming our inner child, we have to do that inner healing work to heal them, him, her, they, them, from those parental, societal, and environmental woundings that many of us have experienced both consciously and subconsciously within our childhood, within our lives. And so tonight, I really want to build upon that. I really want to build upon the power of healing and reclaiming our inner child. And so, welcome. If you're joining me, welcome. If you're joining the rebroadcast, welcome. I am Kimberly J., spiritual teacher, scholar, activist, master healing practitioner, and the founder of the Journey to Wholeness Center. And I am here every single day to hold a sacred space for you, to empower you to do your work to healing and wholeness. And so I welcome you. And so in this space, this is Wellness and Wisdom Wednesday. I jump on every 2 weeks to kind of build upon a topic or concept, something that, again, based upon my own personal lived experiences, based upon the research and scholarship work that I do as a PhD student and candidate, based upon my clients and the experiences I have as an intuitive healer, as a spiritual life coach. I bring those experience, those concepts, those talks, those topics into this space so we can build upon them, to kind of give you some food for thought. Okay. And so as I open up this space, I always start it with a meditation. I think that is so very, very important because, again, we're so busy going, busy doing, busy that we don't sit enough in stillness, in silence, and just listen. And just listen to spirit, just be able to listen with our hearts. We're always processing with the mind, and so everything, even the stimulation and activation, all from social media and everything, like it can be so much. And so I always open spaces with meditation because that allows us just to be still for a moment and really receive whatever divine wisdom, truth, information, knowledge, to be able to receive that with our hearts, to really embody it, because that's what it's all about. And so as we talk about draw an awareness to our inner child, this meditation, very brief, just a brief grounding and meditation, I'm going to invite you to see and to connect with your inner child. And so if you are not driving, I invite you to close your eyes. I welcome you to this meditation, very brief meditation, and being able to just draw your awareness within. And so as you close your eyes, just follow the ebb and flow of your breath. No need to manipulate it. Just pay attention to its normal ebb and flow, its rhythm. Allow your breath to begin to soften you. Allowing you to feel more present. Begin to draw your awareness to your heart center. Dropping your shoulders, opening up that heart space so that it may be activated in this moment. And then I invite you to take a deep breath in from the belly. Bring it into your heart. And then softly exhaling it out. Another deep breath in from the belly. Bringing it into your heart. And then softly exhaling it out. And one more deep breath in from the belly. Bringing it into your heart. And then softly exhaling it out. And now visualize your inner child, the aspect of yourself. What does he, she, or they look like, feel like? What is your inner child doing in this moment? See if you can connect to her. And then ask, what is it that you need from me to truly be free? Taking a few moments, just sitting with whatever comes up for you. As you send love to your inner child. You could begin to make your way back into the space. First, thanking your inner child for showing up. Thanking yourself for the connection that you made to that which is divine within you. And then if anything came up for you, if you received a message, if you were able to connect to your inner child and it's something that you want to recall, or you just want to jot down a few things about the experience, then please feel free to go ahead and do that. And so I hope that meditation, even if you were not able to connect with your inner child, I do hope that meditation was got you into your body. Yeah, got you feeling your heart center, got you feeling the ebb and flow of your breath. And so meditation is available to you and for you at all times. Anytime you want to go deeper, anytime you want to release, anytime you want to center, anytime you want to ground. And it doesn't take very long. You can go into meditation for like a minute or two, and that is still having a meditative, powerful experience, giving you exactly what you need in that moment. You don't have to be a meditation guru in order to get something out of grounding and centering and breathing. And so let's talk about the inner child. And so there is a great deal of healing that can emerge from doing inner child work. And some of you may have already, been hearing that as a healing term or a buzzword um, in many circles, in many philosophy circles, in many psychology circles, in many healing circles, in many spaces that talk a lot about doing inner child work. And the reason for that is because of parental and societal conditioning and indoctrination, coupled with, for many children, the experience of childhood physical, mental, emotional, sexual abuse, or witnessing that abuse, fears, insecurities. It really does. These are things that are toxic to our inner child, and it causes our inner child and to retreat, because that child no longer feels safe, doesn't feel loved, doesn't feel validated. Children need to feel safe. They need to feel loved. They need to feel validated. And sometimes as parents and society and the education system, it's all about indoctrination. It's all about doing things the right way. It's all about it's a lot of projecting. A lot of parents, unconsciously projecting their traumas and their fears, their insecurities onto their children. And our children are constantly taking in a lot of the toxicity that comes from within their families. And then there's toxicity that they experience and trauma that they experience in the education system. Even by nurture of, just sit down and be quiet and stand in line. And, all of that is harmful for the inner child that just wants to be free, that just wants to create, that just wants to explore, that wants to experience. And so you have children who are in that power as a child, and they're always told, be quiet, sit down, go over there, do this, do that. And so that is what I mean by the training and the indoctrination that happens, that begins to make that inner child really, really small. It begins to make that inner child, the voice of that inner child begins to kind of go away. And so our conscious selves, our egoic selves protect. That's what it does. It protects, and it's going to protect that inner child at all costs, just to survive. Just to survive. And so again, we begin to retreat. We don't have space for that inner child to be, because you have to do. There's no such thing as being. You can't be, you have to do. You got to get all A's. You got to get good grades. You got to be the top of your class. You have to, and you have to do. You have to do. Because other than that, you won't be able to compete. Other than that, you won't survive. Other than that, people will judge you. Other than that, and it goes on and on and on. And that child becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it disappears, until you become these rigid adults who don't know how to find joy, who don't know, or they look for joy and entertainment and being distracted, or in drinking, or in doing things that keep them distracted versus really present to experience the essence of themselves. you know really being able again to tap into that inner child. So our inner child really is the purest, most vulnerable, loving, exploratory, carefree, and authentic aspect of ourselves. But again, if that inner child doesn't have an environment to thrive and be those things, If that inner child doesn't feel safe and protected, it begins to retreat. And for some people, he, she, they, them never reemerge. Their inner child never reemerges. It stays hidden, it stays suppressed. And when that inner child is hidden and suppressed and is out of plain sight, that child begins to grow up really hardened, really taking on these adult characteristics because again, they've hidden that inner child because it's not acceptable. So we learn early on in childhood that the world is unsafe, and in order to survive, we got to put childlike things aside, childlike feelings and emotions and joy and wonderment, like all of those things. Yeah, you don't have time for that. You don't have time for dreaming. You got to get to work. You got work to do. You got to compete. You got to survive. And so we learn that it's not even safe to play anymore, to be in joy, to create, you know? And so that loss of that inner child, it really begins to harden us, and we lose a critical, very, very critical aspect of ourselves. And so reclaiming her, for me, for all of you, reclaiming your inner child, you get to experience life from a place of wonderment, exploration, and joy, even in the midst of chaos. Even in the midst of everything going on around you. And let me give you an example. Take that 4-year-old little boy or little girl who it could be like this pouring down monsoon rainstorm. I'm thinking about my nephew Khalil, my niece. Well, this is my great nephew, but my niece, she had these pictures of Khalil pouring down rain and monsoon rain. This is in Phoenix. And he riding his bike, just as happy, singing, riding his bike, just filled with this joy and wonderment, and just raining, dark clouds, raining everything. And so it's your inner child is that kind of energy, so being able to embody that, think about how it would feel if you were able to embody that as an adult. You know, you can run out in the rain and just didn't worry about your hair getting wet, didn't worry about what you got on, don't worry about just being able just to be, just to feel, the vibration of the water against your body. And, so you all get what I'm saying. But reclaiming your inner child, it also shields you from taking yourself and your life so seriously. We're in some very, very precarious times, but we carry that weight on our shoulders and we don't let it up. We don't let it go. We don't even know how to put it down. Even for me, because my work, I feel like, my work, I got to get this work done. I got it. But at the same time, I got to balance it out. I need to balance it out. I'm not here just to work and survive. I'm also here to experience. I'm also here to create. And it's through that vibration, that energy of wonderment and joy and passion and exploration that you're most creative. That you are most inspired is when you give yourself permission to play and to allow that inner child to emerge. And so, how do we begin the process? How do we begin the process of reclaiming our inner child? The first thing that we have to do, well, part and parcel to it, is the inner healing work. We have to heal those inner childhood wounds. And the first thing is acknowledging that they exist, and then seeking the help that you need to begin to process and heal it. You'll never be able to reclaim or allow that inner child to come out and play if you still don't feel safe. If you still feel victimized, and so you got to do, first and foremost, start doing that inner child healing work. The second thing, you got to give yourself permission to experience joy. Give yourself permission to do it. And again, a lot of times we don't do it because we don't even know what does joy mean for me. Sit with that. That's your question. That's your homework assignment. I usually don't give homework assignments, but that's your homework assignment. Sit with the question, what does being in joy mean for me? And I'm not talking about, partying and going to the club or binging out on reality TV, and because all of that's escapism. All of that's kind of escapism, distractions. But what is being present in the space of really like just something that just opens up your heart, like something that you are just so passionate about. Like for me, it's being in nature, like that just opens me up, like wow, to universal love and to truth and to grounding and to exploration. Traveling, that's really big too, for me personally. Being able to explore and go to new places and those are some of the things that bring me. Music brings me joy, so those are some of the things that bring me joy personally. But do the work to find out what brings you joy, and then give yourself permission. Invite that more into your life, into your space. Allow yourself to drop the ball every now and again. Be frivolous, be free, be spontaneous. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is intentionally create space in your life just to be. Yeah, just to be. Not to worry about doing, about being productive, about leading, about teaching, about mothering, about all of that. Give yourself intentionally create a space where when you are in this space, you get to just be. And again, not vegging out on TV, not, you know, drinking and being in the bars and the clubs, all of that. It's a time and place for all of that, but that stuff tends to create more chaos and more distractions. Those are just kind of like extractions, and it's fun, but I'm not talking about fun. I'm talking about really reclaiming and being present with your inner child. You know, the one that can go beyond just drinking for fun, or just doing this activity just for fun. The one that can go beyond that. So how can I, really create a sacred space for me just to be in joy on a regular basis, not once a year, not that once a year vacation or that once a year, once every couple of year things that you do, not that. That being fully present to the experience again of joy, wonderment, and creation. I'm gonna tell you something. What also does that for me is being around my nephew, being around children that are embodying pure joy. That shit is contagious. It is contagious. So go volunteer at a daycare. Them kids, because a lot of they're filled with so much joy. Some of them, some of them that aren't already extremely traumatized before the age of 5. But yeah, your 3 or 4 year old who is just like talkative or rambunctious or just sweet and engaging, and so being around that energy, being around other people who allow you the space to be in your joy without judgment, for you to be weird or for you to do eccentric stuff without judging you. Like, oh yeah, she just going off and doing this. you know and so yeah, that's how you create that space. And the fourth thing is consciously, just like we did with this meditation really briefly, but consciously check in and tap into your inner child for direction, for guidance on what he, she, they want to experience, want to create. Be cognizant of your dreams. Your inner child shows up a lot in dreams. So be aware of your dreams. What is it that your inner child wants to experience for you? We are all here on a very brief journey. A lifetime here on this planet is very, very brief. So it's so important that we use all the tools and the resources that are at our disposal to be in radical alignment with our passion, with our purpose, with our truth, so that we can create, so that we can experience, so we can embody all there is to offer before we get up out of here. Then it's time to go, you know? And so find yourself in relationship, consciously cultivate a relationship with your inner child. So and invite her, him, or they to be an integral part of your life, of your everyday experiences. And so that's it. That's all I had. I know I was pretty brief. Well, not really. I usually wrap up about this time. But again, if you want to, I always offer the invitation at the end of these talks. If there's something that you want to talk to me about on a personal basis, you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I also do spiritual life coaching where we do inner child healing and reclamation work. And so if you are interested in going deeper and doing that work for yourself, please check out my website or email me. Also, if this video was helpful for you, I am trying to get my YouTube subscribers up. So go to YouTube and like my video and subscribe. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna pause. I just want to see. Oh, and I have a course in Journey University. So if you have not been to my online university, Journey University, I have a course out there called Reclaiming Your Joy, which is in complete alignment in terms of what we have discussed. And so, yeah, take that course. It's a very interesting course that'll give you some tools and techniques on what you can do to start that inner work of reclaiming your joy. And so I'm going to pause for a moment and just see if there are any questions in the chat, which sometimes is hard for me to see with Restream. So I'm going to check the chat. Okay. It doesn't look like anyone has any questions. And so I am signing off. I will see you all in a couple of weeks. If you have any other thoughts or questions, just go ahead and put them in a comment or any topics. I would love to hear from you all in terms of any other topics or anything that is going on in your life that you want to build upon for the next Wellness and Wisdom Wednesday. And so I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.